Do you know that each photo is a time capsule that takes us back to the days long gone? These are not just images, but windows into a world where every face, every landscape hides the secrets and dramas of entire eras. Join us to immerse into the world of unique photos that will show you the world as you have never seen it. They will tell stories from different parts of the world and give us memories of what once was and may never be. Are you ready to open the veil of time? So, let's start our journey. In 1984, a dinosaur is being airlifted to the Boston Museum of Science. A hot summer's day in Paris in 1937, the family enjoys a cool shower in the makeshift bathtub on the balcony. In the distance, you can see a street with cars, reflecting the rhythm of urban life at the time. This photo was taken in the same year, but only in the USSR. This is what the students looked like when they heard the words gas attack. They had to wear gas masks. What a striking contrast, isn't it? The restaurant of Ukrainian immigrants invites New Yorkers to try free borscht on the day of Stalin's death, March 6, 1953. A mother and children from South Vietnam swim across a river to escape from Operation Piranha, during which climate weapons were used. This happened in 1966. After the photo won the Pulitzer Prize, the photographer who took it found the family and gave them half of his winnings. Joe Smith, a strong blacksmith from Gloucester, holds a piece of road fencing in his teeth in 1936. There is nothing unusual, just the future King Charles III dancing hopak with one of the folklore groups of the Ukrainian diaspora in the UK, the 1980s. Acrobatic dancers rehearse a number on the roof of a building near Trafalgar Square in central London, 1938. Soldiers use gas masks to peel onions, 1941. These unusual and sometimes comical moments happen even in a brutal war. Drying of snakeskins in the warehouse of the Port of London, September 1930. The Port of London was one of the largest shopping malls in the world at that time, and therefore such scenes became commonplace. Snakeskins were used in various industries, including fashion and accessories, and their processing required careful drying. Children go to school during the strongest dust storms in Oklahoma, USA in 1933. Marilyn Monroe in line for a hot dog, New York, 1957. As you can see, even world-class stars enjoy simple pleasures. Gayle King demonstrates a portable sauna. The device is a bag with a zipper in front connected to a small air pump that pumps hot steam. February 4th, 1942. What a stylish mom on a walk with her children. It was taken in 1946. The first McDonald's hamburger stand, which was opened in San Bernardino, California in 1948. The U.S. Air Force trainee pilot Shirley Slade smokes before taking off on a Martin B-26 Marauders bomber in 1943. Controlling this aircraft was a difficult task for both beginners and experienced pilots. The pilots flying on it were clearly aware that this flight could be the last. A Brazilian Navy submariner armed with an FN-49 rifle protects his colleagues from sharks, January 19, 1985. This is a family on a walk in the UK in the 30s. But what about security? They haven't heard of it. How do you like a child safety seat for a motorcycle? A woman washes her husband over the basin who worked a shift at the mine. It was taken in Wales in 1931. It's time for a short snack and school news. Moscow, 1965. This picture was taken during the construction of the Rossiya Hotel by Yuri Abramokin, who liked to photograph ordinary people, moments of their lives, and sincere emotions. Toronto, the 80s of the last century. The inscription says the following: "Lada is not serviced until the USSR leaves Afghanistan. The case when the desire to be outside politics does not solve the issue of car repairs." Vladimir Vysotsky and his wife Marina Vladi on vacation in Pitsunda. It was taken in Abkhazia. The photo came to us from the 70s. Rin Tin Tin was a German shepherd rescued during World War I. It became one of the first Hollywood movie stars. Thanks to its popularity, the Warner Brothers film studio was able to avoid bankruptcy in the 20s, turning its films into box office hits and laying the foundation for the studio's continued success. In the photo, the star is having lunch in his room at the Sheraton Hotel in Chicago. Simone Seguin, an 18-year-old French woman who joined the resistance during World War II, showed incredible courage and determination. She participated in the liberation of Paris, playing an important role in guerrilla operations against the German occupiers. In the photo, she is with her twin brothers in 1944. Sean Connery signs a coconut to a Jamaican girl on the set of Dr. No, the first film about the famous British spy James Bond. It was taken in 1962. And this is no less famous British comedian Rowan Atkinson, or Mr. Bean, in the 70s. At that time, he was just starting his TV career, appearing in various TV shows and theatrical productions. Women working at a military factory weigh explosives for ship shells, Great Britain, 1944. Conductors pass breakfast tea from one carriage to another. The railway between Peshawar and Lahore, Pakistan, 1983. This is what Ernesto Che Guevara looked like at the age of 22. The picture was taken in the summer of 1951. In the 30s of the last century, beautiful ankle contests were popular in London, where only women's legs were evaluated and the rest of their bodies remained hidden behind a curtain. These contests encouraged the participation of the elderly, convincing them that the chances were the same with younger participants. The judges were usually policemen, as in the photo, or clerks. The winners received free stockings and local fame. No, this girl is not a swordsman. She worked at a sparkling wine factory, and such a helmet protected employees from the sudden depressurization of bottles. Before winemakers switched to bottles with thick glass, they lost up to 40% of the products produced in the Champagne region due to exploding containers. This photo was taken in the 30s of the last century. Kids playing on a giant oak tree, Louisiana, in the 30s of the 20th century. Victor Soy in Vilnius, 1988. The picture was taken in the dressing room before the performance. This period in Soy's work was marked by active tours and growing popularity when the young people all over the USSR listened to his music. A woman stands next to a huge spearfish. It was taken in the 40s. The actors of the Addams Family in 1964. This photo shows the iconic cast of the original television series adapted from the comic books of the same name by Charles Addams. The legendary family, with their eccentric and gloomy lifestyle, gained popularity among the audience, becoming a symbol of unique humor and gothic aesthetics. This is the process of condom testing, 1935. August 5th, 1960. A beautiful butterfly sat on Susan Berman's nose to take a closer look at such a cutie. Anthony Daniels, dressed as the C-3PO android, hides under an umbrella from the scorching sun in the Tunisian desert, where scenes for the planet Tatooine for the original Star Wars Episode IV: A New Hope were filmed. Demonstration of a new tank by John Walter Christie on Capitol Hill, Washington, 1929. During the filming of Green Manners in 1985, Audrey Hepburn worked with a little fawn. She took it shopping with her, fed it, and nursed it. When the baby grew up a little, it was sent to a livestock farm, but Audrey came to visit her pet from time to time. Nuns at the Slot Machine Casino, Australia, 1971. Punks and Dandies, a photograph illustrating the class division of pre-war Britain. It was taken in 1937. A woman grabs matches from a monk trying to commit self-immolation, Seoul, South Korea, 1963. At that time, the country was experiencing political instability, which encouraged people to take radical forms of protest. In this way, the monk sought to draw the attention of the government to the pressing problems of society. Someone is calling their mother at work, the USSR, 1960. These are 5 girls in the trunk of a Dodge Royal Lance, 1950. New York, 1947. The girls from the nightclub are vaccinated against smallpox. At that time, the city was struggling with a sudden outbreak of the disease, and mass vaccination became a key measure. This campaign was one of the largest in the history of the USA, which made it possible to successfully eliminate the epidemic. Casino in Monte Carlo, 1985. This iconic image, captured by legendary photographer Richard Avedon, shows elegant diners at a casino table, including models playing the role of ladies playing. The painting demonstrates the exquisite luxury that Monte Carlo is famous for and the intense moment of the game at the same time. Freddie Mercury and Michael Jackson, 1982. This photo shows the meeting of 2 legends of the world of music, the frontman of the rock band Queen and the king of pop music. Both musicians were at the peak of their careers at the time and collaborated on several songs, although a joint album was never released. This is a wedding ceremony. The groom's sister leads the bride by the handkerchief to the river for pouring water, Udmurtia, the 30s of the last century. New York City subway, 1984. The picture was taken by Frank Horvath. It looks like a portal to hell. How do you like such a fish weighing 165 kilograms? San Francisco, the 50s of the 20th century. Portrait of Dovin's model in the Paris court, 1955. This shot by Richard Avedon is a synthesis of high fashion in everyday life. A sophisticated model in an elegant Dior suit watches street performers in a busy courtyard in Paris. The 10th Princess of Monaco, Grace Kelly, is vacationing in Jamaica in 1955. In this picture, Grace Kelly, along with Audrey Hepburn, was filmed backstage during the Academy Awards ceremony in 1956. Nobel laureate in literature Joseph Brodsky with his students, the 80s. He was teaching at the University of Michigan at the time and was at the peak of his academic career in the USA. Skiers enjoy the winter sun, 1955. The last autumn of the French actor Louis de Funès. He will be gone 2 months after this photo, November 1982. A boy collects apples in the north of Kazakhstan. Photo by Yuri Abramokin, 1965. A woman uses one of the fancy exercise machines of the 30s of the 20th century, designed for fat rolling. It was assumed that vibrating and roller mechanisms would help to get rid of excess weight without exercise, reflecting the popular but scientifically unfounded ideas of that time about easy ways to lose weight. Young goalkeeper, 1961, photo by Vladimir Lagrange. That's how people in Ohio rejoiced at the abolition of prohibition in the United States, which lasted from 1920 to 1933. People welcomed the return of legal alcoholic beverages, which marks the end of the period of underground bars and mafia activity, as well as the beginning of a new era of social and cultural freedom in the country. The irony of fate is that the car that was transporting the tires had a punctured tire. Texas, USA, 1966. American model Sunny Harnett in a Madame Gray dress bets at Le Taquet Casino. The picture was taken by Richard Avedon for the September issue of Harper's Bazaar in 1946. A first grader brags to his friends in the courtyard of a new school uniform, the USSR, 1955. This photo is also from 1955, but this time it's foggy New York. Young street musicians, Kentucky, the 30s of the last century. The instruments in such a jug band could be made from any available tools. Guitars and mandolins were made from the fingerboards of discarded guitars attached to large pumpkins. Percussion instruments could also serve as a washing board, spoons, pots, or something homemade from ordinary household items. Marina Kalinina, Miss USSR, 1988. This beauty contest was the first in the history of the country, and even its organizers did not fully understand how to properly hold such events. Kalinina's victory marked an important cultural shift and ushered in a new era in the Soviet beauty industry. A couple in a sweater for two, Austin, Texas, 1963. This model was called a tweeter and was incredibly popular back then. Chorus girls in military training, Japan, the 30s of the 20th century. Frank Horvath's photo shows a man carrying grocery bags down a snowy New York street in the 80s. Parked cars and trees decorated with lights are visible around, which create a cozy atmosphere of a winter city. Demonstration of an underground bomb shelter of economy class in the USA in 1958. Such a bunker could accommodate from 8 to 12 people. It was claimed that this structure is capable of withstanding the fall of a 20 megaton bomb in TNT equivalent. An enthusiast for men's clothing reform walks down the street in London in 1930. At that time, innovative views on fashion and the pursuit of convenience were beginning to gain popularity. The party advocating changes in traditional men's clothing was formed in the interwar years in the UK. A telephone conversation between kids in kindergarten, photo by Arkady Shaket, 1954. A group of tourists led by Igor Dyatlov goes hiking in the northern Urals. It is 1959, and young enthusiasts from the Ural Polytechnic Institute are preparing to conquer the snow-capped peaks. The group consists of 9 experienced athletes who do not even suspect that this trip will go down in history as one of the most mysterious and tragic incidents of Soviet tourism. Representatives of the Yakuza, 1980. Telephone booth, New York, 1962. A snapshot of Ernest Haas, known for his pioneering use of color in photography. A little girl draws water on a farm in Maine, 1942. This photograph by Richard Avedon was taken in 1955, and it depicts a scene in a bar where models in exquisite outfits interact with other characters. From left to right, Susie Parker and Mike Nikas, Audrey Hepburn, Dominic Rosa, and Susan Egan. The elegant interior, people in fashionable suits, and playful poses create an atmosphere of a carefree, glamorous party reflecting the style and spirit of the era. This is another photo of Ernest Haas, Tennessee, the 50s, preparing for Halloween. A vending machine where one could buy already lit cigarettes. What a level of service! Great Britain, 1931. New York, 1962. The photo conveys the spirit and atmosphere of the working class area of the city at that time. Special attention is paid to the play of light and shadow, creating a feeling of a cozy and nostalgic moment. A train carriage in the subway, the USSR, the 70s. Eve Eden is a British actress of the 50s of the 20th century who played more than 20 film roles, including in films such as The Mystery of the Opera and The World on Fire. Now take a look at this dancing man, Palermo, Sicily, 1947. Nina von Schulbruch, 1958. Then she was just starting her career in the modeling business, conquering international catwalks with her elegance and aristocratic charm. She would later become the mother of famous actress Uma Thurman. Children play table hockey on vacation at the all-union pioneer camp Artek on the Black Sea coast in the 60s. A girl at the window of the Moscow department store Detsky Mir in 1967. Photo by Galina Kisleva. This photo, dating from the late 40s of the last century, captured an experiment to study psychosomatic reactions to physical isolation. The women, whose heads protrude through holes in the table, volunteered for the study, which became part of the groundbreaking but controversial scientific experiments of the time.